Hi, guys. It's a real thing.
Cole, he's my miracle child.
Business owner, you're paying too much for internet and phone service. Switch to Spectrum Business. Cut your bill by 50%. We can prove it. Try the Spectrum Business Savings Calculator, and we'll show you just how much your business can save.
Want to learn how to prepare a restaurant-quality tomahawk steak in your own home? This video is for you. 90% of people
I
don't prepare
don't.
their tomahawk steaks correctly, resulting in tough, dry meat that is
dry
practically
meat.
tasteless. This is by far the best
get
way
your
to prepare
tough,
a
dry
tomahawk
meat.
steak. Start by seasoning the tomahawk with salt and pepper. Apply a generous
And,
amount of salt
and
and pepper to
probably
both
loaded
sides of the
Detroit.
steak. Next, we're going to sear the steak. Turn
you
your
will.
barbecue onto high heat. Pour down a generous
About
amount of
500
oil.
degrees, right?
Place the tomahawk onto the barbecue. Sear each side for 3 minutes.
All right.
Flip the steak. Transfer to the grill. Then, remove from heat. It's time to tenderize the steak.
I didn't know this was how to basic.
Perfect. Look how tender the meat looks now. It's time to cook the tomahawk. Place it back onto the grill over medium heat. Grill for 5 minutes. After you've finished cooking the tomahawk steak, it's time to cook it. Cook the tomahawk steak on low heat for 3 minutes. Turn off the heat. Wow, look how good that looks. It's cooked to perfection. Look how
Jesus
juicy and
Christ.
tender the meat is. It's incredibly flavorful. Serve and enjoy.
How to make Subway cookies.
Let's be honest, chocolate chip cookies are always good, but when you have a really, really good one, it's life-changing. We pretty much bought all the chocolate chips in New York City. We baked, we tested, we ate, and now we have the ultimate chocolate chip recipe for you. We're gonna ball out with a few extra flavors, but really all you need for cookies are sugar, flour, fat, eggs, and chocolate. And on our quest to find the best, we had to test out what all of these ingredients do to a cookie and how we can use their best properties to come up with the ultimate recipe. Let's talk sugar. So we've got white sugar, light brown sugar, and dark brown sugar. Really the only difference is the addition of molasses. Light brown sugar has a bit of molasses and dark brown has a bit more molasses in it. For this test, we wanted to see what just using one sugar in each dough would do to a cookie. With all white sugar, spread the most, didn't have a ton of flavor. Light brown sugar was a little bit chewier, spread a little bit less, and the dark brown sugar was really overpowering in its flavor and spread the least. And visually, you can see a big difference too.
It's
And what we
spread
found
the
was
least.
you really can't get that classic flavor just using one. Next thing we had to tackle is flour. So we've got all-purpose, bread flour, and cake flour. Really the only difference here is the amount of protein and therefore gluten in these flours. Just think about it like this. Bread's like really nice and chewy, has a great texture, great structure, having that gluten and protein. Whereas cake, you think of it as tender, it's light, it's
Cake.
airy, it's gonna have less of those things. What it really comes down to is taste and texture. All-purpose gave you, standard cookie. The bread flour led to a significantly chewier cookie. The cake flour was the one that really spread the most. It was pretty delicate. And then similar to sugar, we decided that in order to get the best result, you gotta use a combination of two. So on to fat. We wanted to see the difference between softened butter and melted butter. And then we wanted to see what would happen if we switched it out completely and used coconut oil. Between softened butter and melted butter, visually they look pretty similar. The melted butter spread a little bit more. And then taste, we didn't notice a huge difference either. Tested with coconut oil and it worked. It was a cookie, but it lost like that great oomph, that butter brings to all baked goods. And so in the end, we definitely prefer using butter. Eggs, we went pretty simple with this one. Just an egg and an egg yolk contributes to more of like a fudgier, richer cookie. Obviously, we're making chocolate chip cookies. We have to have chocolate chips, but we're also going to add a little bit something extra with some chunks of dark chocolate. Cut it with a serrated knife into little chunks and add that to your dough. It's really nice because you have like a variance of flavors and textures throughout. It's really just a few fundamental ingredients and learning how to master their properties in order to get the best result that you're after. And finally, after all that testing, we came up with our ultimate recipe. Here we go.
I
So
hope
we're going to start
this
by
is-
sifting out the flour.
Oh,
we're
wait,
going to do
this is
all-purpose and bread
serious.
flour, salt, and baking
thought
soda
that
as
guy
well.
was gonna
We really
come
liked
out
the
of
chew
nowhere and
factor
start
of the
fucking
bread
her
flour with a
cookies up.
combination of all-purpose to kind of give us best of both worlds. And then we're going to move on to the butter. So we're going to do melted butter, but we're going to take it one step further and brown it. All you need to do to make brown butter is throw it all in a saucepan and get it to a boil. After a few minutes of boiling, the milk solids in the butter are going to start to toast and turn a really gorgeous brown, nutty color. Keep stirring it to make sure that the butter is browning evenly. And once you can see the really dark brown bits on the bottom, you're going to pour it off, ideally into a liquid measuring cup. This is going to do two things. One, it's going
What's
to
it
quickly
gonna
cool down the
do?
butter so it stops the cooking. You don't want to burn it. And then also we want to make sure that we have a cup of liquid when it's all said and done. So while making the brown butter, you do end up boiling off a good amount of liquid. So we're just going to top it up with a bit of water until we reach 1 cup. Just let it chill out for a bit, come to room temperature before you proceed. So we found that we really need a combination.
Greatest cookie. Morgan Freeman says the greatest cookie.
2 minutes till we have to go back.
Morgan Freeman probably
Back
didn't
at the
say
office.
that.
Having 30 minutes for lunch.
I hate it.
Vivian. Yep. No, Vivian. Oh!
If you're not back at your
Well, if
desk
he
in
did.
10 minutes, you're
I
fired.
hope it was well within
Do you guys ever
context of
dream
something.
about quitting?
God, I wish we could quit.
Why can't we?
We could do our own thing.
Yeah, like start our own
I
company.
feel
Be
like
our own bosses?
even
We
if
could get our
he
weekends back.
I
said
could wear
that in a
sweatpants every
situation
day.
where
Bridget.
it couldn't be used,
Bridget.
still be automatically
Bridget.
used because he said it. The
Let's
greatest
quit.
cookie. Why would Morgan Freeman, otherwise scripted, say the greatest cookie?
Turn down for what? We're starting our own packaging company! Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All we need is an idea. Just one amazing idea.
I got donuts. God, I hate how they always double bag everything.
And this is how
Brian, what did you just say?
OnlyFans
I
was
got
born.
donuts.
No, about the bag.
The double bag.
Oh my god,
Oh,
Brian, you're a
no.
genius.
Thanks, I just got a selection.
Turdwords.com.
No, the bag.
Oh,
I still don't get it.
Did you know that 87% of stores double bag?
One reinforced bag could be as strong as 2 regular ones.
And better for the environment.
And better for the budget.
Yes!
it's just like
Better.
This is so exciting, guys! Let's meet tomorrow.
Yeah, but where? We don't have an office, remember?
Welcome to corporate headquarters. Sorry about the smell.
It's perfect. Okay, devices, storage. What else? Oh, can we get Slack?
And Excel.
Done.
Dave, what's the Wi-Fi password?
It's Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, but what is it?
Wi-Fi password.
Are you telling me you set your Wi-Fi password to Wi-Fi password?
It's easy to remember.
I just shared it with you.
Thanks.
Okay, what else? Marie, website.
We need a web developer.
A cheap web developer.
I could ask my cousin Kevin.
Yeah, we do it. And G.
Kevin, you're 14.
And I want to be a partner.
Prototype? Right here. Excuse me, sir. We only need 2 minutes.
Sorry guys, it's a no. People have been begging me to remake the world famous chocolate chip cookies from Levan Bakery. Whoa. I would need to go all the way to New York to try them before I did that. Logically, obviously, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Wait, you kind of be doing that.
Is it bad if I've never had one before? Well, we're going now, so it's never too late, okay? It's never too late. It's fine. 11 years ago now that I had my first Levan cookie. This is a New York staple at this point. I don't know what kind of cookie you're into, but this is basically a ball of warm cookie dough with a vaguely crispy exterior. Thick bastard. This is a thinking man's cookie. Yes, I like that. I like that. This car doesn't go 0 to 60 that fast, but it'll move. People will literally ride either the line or a quarter into your lane, and then everybody just kind of, they're like, that's fine. And I'm like, this is not fine. Well, what you expect? Shut up. Okay, we're here in the beautiful Upper West Side at the original Levan Cookie Bakery, Levan Bakery. You call it Cookie Bakery. One of each cookie, please. One of each cookie? Yeah. Okay. Pay dirt. All right, let's dig into one of these motors.
Look at the bottom. Looks great. There's caramelization on there. You almost took my thumb off.
Can I break this?
Wow. Yeah.
We're good. Against the odds.
I'm actually glad that happened. That was a little sad.
Oh, shit. Wow, it's not exactly how I described it to you. No, it's just a lot better than I thought. Blowing my mind how good this is. Also, having this like thicker texture is like you maintain sort of gooey, liquidy chocolate. That won't happen with a normal cookie. They probably go pretty light on the baking soda, baking powder, richness, maybe more egg yolks, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of a well-guarded secret. So you're gonna try to recreate this at home? I think I can do it. So everybody in the world can experience this. It's your turn too.
Well, that was fun. Now we're back in town, and I think we're ready to take on this challenge. Before we even get started, just want to say a quick thank you to Benjamin Babish. Andrew, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you, and we kiss you.
And one more thing, I have a collab video that went up on Babish's channel. There will be a link in the description. Be sure to go click that and watch it. It's bread. You like that. Alright, so not to flex, but I actually got this right on the first try, so I'm flexing. Couple important notes here. The chocolate that you're using, you want it to be relatively dark, like 60 to 70% cacao, so make sure that that's on the board. No milk chocolate. The second thing that you want is you want to use cake flour. No all-purpose flour. I don't want to hear substitutions. Please use cake flour. You know how I feel about that cake. So you're going to start off with 1 1/4 cup or 280 grams of unsalted butter. Bring it to a melt. Wait, no. You know what I mean. Set that to the side and let it cool a little bit. Then rough chop 1 pound or 450 grams of dark chocolate, like a lot. You want it to look like this, sort of some randomized pieces, some big, some small, some tiny, you know, yeah. In a medium-sized bowl, combine 1.5 cups or 230 grams of cake flour and 2 cups or 275 grams of all-purpose flour. 1.5 teaspoons or 5 grams of kosher salt and 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of cornstarch. And half a teaspoon or 6 grams of baking soda. Give that some whiskey. To stand mixer fitted with the whisk attachment, and yes, you can do this by hand in a regular bowl with a whisk, don't worry. Add 1.25 cup or 285 grams of brown sugar, light brown sugar, and half a cup or 115 grams of white granulated sugar. Begin whisking that on medium speed and then slowly stream in your butter. Whisk that all together until it looks nice and creamy like this. Then to that, 1 egg at a time, you're gonna add 2 eggs, followed by 3 egg yolks, making sure to incorporate them in between each egg, of course. Now once you got a nice, smooth, homogeneous little thing going on here, switch to the pedal attachment and then mix in your flour mixture. Don't forget to spill a bunch of flour all over the place when you're pouring it into your mixer, because for some reason mixers are built this way in such a way that you always spill flour. I don't know. I'm blaming the mixer instead of myself. That's just how it goes. Once your dough is nice and smooth, go ahead and fold in 2 cups or 165 grams of rough chopped walnuts. I'd recommend toasting your walnuts, by the way, and your chopped chocolate. And also, maybe don't do this in the machine because it's a little bit rough on your machine. So, and there you go. There's your nice little cookie dough. Now, number 1 tip with these, if you want them to be tall, you need to chill these. So wrap them up and put them in your refrigerator for at least 45 minutes. The longer you chill them, the taller they'll be. I mean, you can only get them so cold, but you see what I'm saying. So fast forward and you've got your chili boy, right? Now we need to talk about scooping. Scooping is very, very important here. Upon further research, I found on their website that their cookies typically average around 6 ounces in size. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a 6-ounce cookie ball. And you want these balls to be tall. I know this sounds weird, but I found that a Vorath 4-ounce stainless steel disher works really well if you stuff it in there really nicely. I'll have a link in the description for that if you want to use that. If you don't have a scale, whatever, do what you want to do. But get nice balls, okay? Then just arrange them onto baking sheets lined with parchment paper. I had 6 here. I'd recommend doing 4 on each tray just to have extra room. If you want these to be extra tall, I would recommend refrigerating them for 25 more minutes. I did not, and you will see the minor consequences in a bit. Next, you're going to place them into an oven set to 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 220 Celsius, yes, very hot, for 10 to 13 minutes or until lightly browned on the outside. You want the inside to be a little bit underdone. That's the goal here. And so here they are. Here's a little side-by-side just for comparison. I think you did pretty good here, guys. You know, considering we got this on the first try, and they're pretty darn close. Let's say they're about 85 to 90% of the way there in terms of similarity. But do you want to know what is 100% of the way there? B-roll.
Guys, and that is it. So, I feel pretty good about this. I don't think that they were perfect. I think they could have been a little bit taller. And I think if you wanted them taller, you just need to chill the dough much longer. I only chilled mine for about 30 or 45 minutes. Again, thank you so much to Andrew, aka Benching with Babish. Everybody calls him Babish. Yeah, Brad Leone calls him Babby. Hey, Brad Leone, if you're watching, kiss, kiss. Love you. Hit me up. That was a ton of fun. Babish and I have been talking for a while, and I've hinted at it a bunch. Everybody kind of already figured it out pretty early on, so thanks for that. I'm also doing a collaboration on his channel. There will be a bread video over there. Like I said earlier, be sure to go check that out. There will be a link in the description. But with all that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Babish too. He's in the freaking description, bro. Go get that. Go click that. That button.
Coming for bath towels? Leave wrapped in love.
This seems like an odd one for us. Donuts are already one of the cheapest foods on the planet, coming in at this price per donut on average. But that's just for a plain glaze. What if you want something ultra gourmet for this price? That's but cheaper. You know, the holidays are right around the corner, which means it's time to get nice and snuggly with the ones that you love. Here, have a little hot cocoa. Oh, you spilled some. There we go. All better. Still a whole 40% off on Amazon. This 6 times New York Times bestseller is available, and the link is in the description. Happy holidays. We all like our donuts. We have our favorite places that we go to, etc. I don't understand why people have them for breakfast, by the way. Is that really a thing? Best way to ruin your day. You eat 3 donuts at 8 a.m. The rest of your day, screwed, tired, the entire day. The point is, I wanted to make a donut that is relatively cheaper than the average
don't eat
plain
donuts.
glazed donut.
Yes,
but
I
instead
do.
of it being plain glazed, we're gonna take it
Not every
all
day,
the
though.
way up. We're talking fully homemade dough that's got maxed out buttery flavor, but on top of that, we're making ultra gourmet donuts with their own toppings. Multi-tiered,
There are
multi-level with like
months
cereal
that go
or
by that I
cereal
don't
milk,
have a
and you go to
donut.
like a fancy donut shop and it's like $4 or $5 a donut. Can it be done? So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we?
I've simultaneously figured out how to make donuts undeniably soft and undeniably cheap. Well, I guess they've always been cheap. Yes, there is a rematch for the Krispy Kreme coming, and I have not forgotten. Anyway, in a container, add 1.5 cups or 360 milliliters of whole milk at around 95 Fahrenheit. To that, you'll crisp in 1 tablespoon or 11 grams of instant yeast, followed by a 1/3 cup or 74 grams of granulated white sugar. Then in a small bowl, add 2 whole eggs, cracked, obviously, and 1 egg yolk. Add your yeasty, milky mommy mixture to the bowl of a stand mixer, whisk your eggs together, and add that as well. Begin mixing on medium speed, then whisk together 4.5 cups or 675 grams of all-purpose flour with 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of fine sea salt. Then while your stand mixer is constantly mixing, add your flour mixture about 3 tablespoons at a time until all of your flour has been added and a dough has formed. Then reduce the mixer speed to medium-low and knead for 1 minute, then add half a cup or 115 grams of unsalted softened butter. Let that brother incorporate and mix for 5 minutes or until you have a beautifully smooth dough. And it's starting to pull from the sides of the bowl. Yes, the dough will be a little bit sticky. It's highly hydrated, and that's okay. That's what we want. Take a deep breath in, let it out. We're making donuts, not a Large Hadron Collider. Now give that brother a couple kneads by hand, then plop it into a large greased bowl, form it into a rough ball, cover with plastic wrap, and give it a passive-aggressive name this time, and let that rise at room temp for 1.5 hours or until doubled and as thick as my thighs. Moving magic and it's done. Dust it with flour and observe the fact that this dough now has life. Then just lightly pat all of that life out of the dough until completely degassed. Plop that into a lightly floured work surface, dust the top with flour, and roll it with a rolling pin until you get a large rectangle. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. And at this point, you could totally use a donut cutter, which I don't have one. Instead, use a 3-inch biscuit cutter to cut out as many rounds as possible. Then use a smaller circular biscuit cutter to cut out the hole. See, now you know why they're called donut holes. Ah yes, increasing your business margins while also glazing holes. Anyway, once you've punched out as much of the dough as possible, you'll have a ton of dough scrap. Knead it lightly together to homogenize.
Apple Business Essentials is here. Start your free trial now.
And let that rest for 5 minutes, roll it back out, and cut again. Yes, you can cut more. Depending on their size, you should get 20 to 25 donuts. But I went extra long. But I would actually advise against doing that because these were so big that it was kind of hard to eat an entire one by itself. Anyway, cover with plastic wrap and let that proof at room temp for 45 minutes or until puffed and plump like a baby. So we're past the hard part, it's smooth sailing from here. As long as you're not a ding-dong and behave recklessly with your fry oil, you should be good. Fill a large heavy bottom pot just slightly over halfway with vegetable oil and heat it to 350 Fahrenheit. Using a greased flat spatula, carefully pick up a donut, lay it into the oil, and fry 2 to 3 donuts at a time, accounting for expansion so they don't overcrowd the pot and form into weird square shapes. The frying portion happens pretty quickly, so I would say about 45 seconds to a minute, then flip and repeat on the other side. We don't want these to get super dark. We want them sort of a darkish, tannish color. An overfried donut is a depressing donut. You know, something like this beautifully smooth round. By good lord, I could kiss it. Except I wouldn't because it's extraordinarily hot, so instead I sniff. Pull that out of the oil, drain on a wire rack, and repeat with all of your donuts and their accompanying holes until you've fried all your donut baby men. Now let those bad boys cool, and before we discuss our topping, let's just look at these things. They're absolutely ridiculous in how aerated and soft they are. I mean, look at the inside of that puppy. Snake my drain, prank call my cousin, spank a squirrel. I can smell the sweet yeasty aroma right now. Now we can discuss our toppings. This is where we save our money the most. A gourmet donut can get very expensive when it comes to toppings. Usage of vanilla beans, expensive chocolates, which don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of that. But how do we leverage exciting dessert flavors without cost? Well, turns out, cereal. You all know I have a soft spot for cereal, so let's not get hung up on that. While we may have the necessary plain glazed, the real stars are two others, a cereal milk cornflake donut and a double chocolate peanut butter puff donut. If your whole body isn't tingling a little right now, I don't know what to do for you, pal. Be aware that the price is really only calculated for one of these options, but you could do all three without changing the price too much. Okay, so the plain glaze is simple. In a large bowl, add 5 cups or 641 grams of confectioner's sugar. That's little fancy pants pastry talk for powdered sugar. Mix that together with half a cup or 118 grams of hot water. Go slow with the water here at first. You may need to use slightly less depending on your humidity, etc. Then add 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of vanilla extract and a tiny pinch of salt. Whisk together until completely smooth and homogenized, and it should be thick enough to sort of cling to the whisk like this. And that's it, it's done. Then all you do is dunk a cool donut in and coat both sides thoroughly. Drain on a wire rack and repeat with your donuts. Now, moving on to cereal milk. Look, all you really need is a half cup or 15 to 20 grams of cereal of choice. Cover that with half a cup or 120 milliliters of whole milk. We got our corn flakes, frosted flakes, peanut butter puffs, and fruity pebbles, which, not so into fruity pebbles, but they got that pizzazz in this relatively monochromatic lineup. Then just let those bad boys sit at room temp for 10 minutes or in the fridge covered overnight if you want that maximum flavor. Granted, if you're gonna go max on flavor, I do suggest making a larger batch so you have extra for other usages and it's not a waste of time. Now strain the cereal out of the milk and you have cereal flavored infused milk. Now you simply just use that milk to make an icing for donuts. Yep, that's it. So get yourself 2 cups or 250 grams of powdered sugar and add just enough of your cereal milk of choice so that it's about twice as thick as your plain glaze coating. You want this to cling to the top of your donuts and hold, so it should be very thick. You may only use a couple tablespoons of milk. Now once it's done, take the cooled donut, dip just the top into it, let it drain slightly, give it a little flip so the unglazed side faces down on the wire rack, and then top one side with the correlating cereal. I did a little bit offset for the last but far from least is the double chalky way. For the chocolate glaze to a medium bowl, add 2 cups or 250 grams of powdered sugar, 4.5 tablespoons or 24 grams of cocoa powder, a small pinch of salt, whisk together, then whisk in a 1/4 cup or 40 grams of cereal milk. This cereal milk is Cocoa Puff milk, of course, makes sense. Whisk that until thoroughly combined, and you should have a beautifully thick glaze. For the peanut butter drizzle, simply whisk together 3 tablespoons or 64 grams of peanut butter with half a cup or 47 grams of powdered sugar. Yes, it will be thick. Relax. Thin that out with water until it reaches a consistency that's drizzable but still relatively thick. Same thing as before. Get a cool donut, dip just one side to coat with the glaze, let it even itself out slightly, then this time immediately dunk that glazed side into a bowl of Cocoa Puffs, place it on a wire rack, unglazed side down, then immediately drizzle with your peanut butter icing, and so we're done. A beautiful row of donuts, a nice subtle mix of highs and lows to make for an undeniably cheap and mouth-watering gourmet donut for the price of this per serving right goddamn here. That is how you butt cheaper, folks. Now let's taste test these and see if we can get that gourmet out-of-body experience that we all desire.
We have donuts to eat here. We have a classic glazed donut, and I'm talking properly glazed. It gets that means it's got a candied crust. A chocolate donut with Reese's Puffs and a peanut butter topping. Then we have a frosted flake donut, also known as my cereal milk donut. You can do this with any kind of cereal that you want. All right, first bite. This is single-handedly the best donut we've made on this channel. Period. End of story. It breathed air into my body. It was Next one. Okay, I will be honest, it does kind of rip up the roof of your mouth upon the first bite, but then it just beats the life out of you with unbelievable chocolatey peanut butter flavor, dude. Yeah, so then the next one, this straight up tastes like a toasted marshmallow. Why? This price for glaze, this price for chocolate, and this price for our, I guess, toasted marshmallow at an average price of this right here for gourmet donuts, dude. Now you go on, get your fry all rolling, you call that girl Becky back. Don't you be scared, you can do it.
You wanna know what else is glazed, plump, and fragrant? B-roll. Alright guys, and that is it. So we have our gourmet donuts. It doesn't just have to be a cereal donut to be gourmet, which almost seems like a mixture of highs and lows. It's gourmet, but it has cereal on it. When you make a donut at home, not only do you have complete and utter control of the size, the way they look, the way that they're fried, how long they're fried, what they're coated in, the flavors that they have. Maybe you mix a little bit of orange zest in your dough and you're like, God dang! And it's the same freaking price, and arguably better. You can top this with whatever you want, and chances are it's not gonna make that price go up egregiously unless you start throwing in expensive stuff like vanilla bean, which I'm not saying I'm not guilty of that. It's like that kid in that one meme where his head veins popping and he's on his desk and he's like, how do people do that on TikTok? In 10 years, they're gonna go to their doctor and the doctor's gonna be like, you're gonna die like tomorrow. What are you doing? So what we learned today was you can make a donut for very cheap and you could also go to the hospital if you do that. Don't do that, that's not good for your health. So if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Don't put your head like that and make your vein pop, 'cause that's bad for the sound.
Get your TV together with DirecTV Stream.
So many of us think that there's only one kind of waffle. Boy, you could not be more wrong. And today I'd like to introduce you to the magical world of the perfect waffle. Okay, so today we're making waffles, but not just any waffles. We're making the 3 best versions of waffles that I can think of. We have the traditional sort of quick little baking soda, you throw it in the pan and it's done. Then we're gonna make a classic Belgian Liège waffle, the one that you rise, okay? A lot of people don't make this because they're like, oh my gosh, I have to put the yeast and wait for it to rise, it's so hot. No, this is Sharon. I'm joking. Any Sharons out there, Papa, alright? My point is that you just have to wait for like 40 minutes to do that. It's not that bad. And then the third will be a classic mochi waffle. I wanted to originally do these mochi ones with ube, but I couldn't find any in the amount of time because they're really freaking hard to find. But I will do another guide that's further in depth about mochi later. But despite all that, we're gonna make these 3 waffles and then we're gonna decide if there is a perfect waffle of all time. So with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Okay folks, although I can enjoy Shrek as much as the next guy, we won't be making any donkey references in this video. Instead, we'll be making Mr. Easy Peasy quick waffles, classic Belgian Liège waffles, and last but certainly far from least, mochi waffles with whipped cream and Bananas Foster topping. We're getting real naughty with that one. Let's start things off with the easy, more Americanized waffles. Start with a medium-sized bowl and add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and give it some To that, you'll add half a cup of buttermilk, which looks alarmingly thicker than normal, 1 cup of whole milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 eggs,
Not his. Not his. I was just saying. I'm not malicious. And on that, I'm out. Have a good night. Follow, I follow. Watch the video, don't watch the video.